Hello, good evening, and welcome to tonight's Transformation Thursday, week 72. We are discussing maintaining spiritual hygiene with Miss Michelle Swan Graham. Okay, the show
Hi.
is yours.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. I am Michelle Swan Graham, and I'm here to talk about spiritual hygiene, um, how to help you to make sure that you have a spiritual practice, daily rituals that um, that could help you stay connected with your soul, with your spirit, and whatever deity that you follow. Okay, so that is the topic of tonight. So welcome. Um, I don't know how many people are here, but if you have any questions for me, I could just tell you a little bit um, about my practice, what I do. So I have been intuitive since I was a kid. I'm sure some of you out there probably have been spiritual intuitive like I have since you were children. It's something that was encouraged by my mom, and I embraced that. And as I got older, I really kind of delved into my spiritualities. Definitely when I hit my about mid 20s, I really started getting into it. So one of the things that I do is of course, I do readings, intuitive readings, and I do cards every day. That has been a practice for me since, oh my gosh, probably, I would say almost 20 years now. I pull a card every day. In the beginning, I used to pull one card, but I always write down my cards. I have what I call a mystical book. I have my current one right here, and I write down in my book the card that I get for the day. It is my tuning in to my spirit. It is what that I do. Now, I pull more than one card. I pull 2 to 3 cards a day, and I share them with my audience on my Instagram. And I pull one tarot card and 2 oracle cards. And what I love about doing that practice is it gives me the kind of the weather report for the day. And even though they're different decks, maybe having totally, they're not even related, but what happens is the same messages are repeated within the cards. And that's one of my daily practices that I love to do. It connects me to my spirit. And I get messages through the cards. And like I said, I share that with my audience as well. And it's also a great way to learn a tarot deck or an oracle deck. If you pull a card every day, faithfully, you will begin to learn how to use the cards. So that is one of the main spiritual practice that I do to help myself get grounded. I do it in the morning, but of course, sometimes I have things I have to do that I may not be able to do it in the morning, so I do it in the afternoon, but I make sure that I do those cards every day and I record it in my book. And what the interesting thing is, you record your cards every day, you begin to see like a story. You see your patterns, right? Um, so yes, hello, hi. So I'm rambling. I don't want to ramble on, but if anybody has any questions or comments, please, please feel free to
Feel free to
talk about.
ramble.
Say it again.
Feel free to ramble on.
Really? Okay. So that's one of the main things that I do that keeps me grounded. I also always have spiritual books around me that I like to read. And one of the things, I live very high up. I live on the 24th floor. And one of the things I like to do is there is no other building. so I could look out at the sky. And that is my form of meditation, right? Looking at them, like I can see the sky now and it's beautiful. And if you can do that, like if look out your window for like 3 to 5 minutes, and that's a way that you could kind of like let go, right? And you're not all in your head. You're more, you clear all of that stuff that's there, and your intuition, your guides, your spirit team can kind of rise up and talk to you, because that monkey mind is kind of quieted because you're looking at that beauty. Now, if you have a view that's obstructed, you put on music. I love looking at videos on YouTube. There's a different meditations. I found one recently that had a pyramid. It's like 3 hours of this pyramid. It's just floating around, and you could watch that. And it's all about like using things to kind of quiet your conscious mind, right? So the other mind, the spirit mind, I'm being guided to say that, it kind of just come through. I think that's very important. My grandma was intuitive as well. I didn't really know how much she was until after her death. I was told this about 2 years ago. I didn't realize how much we shared intuitively. But my gram used to read her scriptures every day. She didn't go to church, but she read her Bible. And now that I'm older, I feel like that was her way of tuning into spirit, right? That was her way. And she did it faithfully. Just like I pull my cards, my gram read her Bible. So I would encourage everybody to find some kind of practice that you can do. Now, if every day is too much, at least I would try to do it at least, I'm getting 3 to 4 times a week, like, because you have to like tune into your soul. And if you don't make the time for it on every day, or at least a couple of times a week, like in the intro, in the Instagram post, if you don't do that work, oh, very similar to my grandma, yes, right? So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of our grandmas probably did that. If you don't make the spiritual time now, when the bigger issues comes up, you're going to be scattered. You're not going to be rooted. And having a spiritual practice root to you, that's like root chakra energy, right? And you need those things. And if reading cards is not your thing, if meditation is not your thing, I'm hearing like you can use oils, right? You can maybe put certain oils on your body, say a prayer. You can do, if you're into law of attraction, you could do scripting method, write in your journal every day with affirmations or things that you want to create. That is a practice. And a daily spiritual practice is unique to you as a person. What draws to you? What are you interested in? I think that's so important. And like I said, the cards, they really resonate with me. If you don't want to use cards, you can use crystals. If you have a beautiful crystal collection, maybe you could pull a crystal every day and like research what this crystal means and talk to the crystal, right? Because crystals are energy. They're alive. I'm trying to think, whatever, if you're near a park, right? I love trees. You go into your local park, talk to the trees, walk up to a tree, give a tree a hug. Trees have amazing energy. And each tree, like each person, has different energy. You can, and always ask for permission. If you go gonna hug a tree, ask the tree for permission. And the tree, you'll feel it. You'll feel like a kind of a warmth. And I've never encountered a tree that told me no. Never encountered that. You can do that as well. Go and talk to the trees. How do you pull a crystal? Okay, so let me show you. So let's do this. Do this on the fly. So now I have in my hand, I have 3 crystals, right? In my hand. So I'm not gonna look at which one that I have. Okay. And I'm just gonna pick one right now. So I'm just gonna ask right now, like maybe there's a message or something that that needs to be shared to everybody picking crystal. Okay, I'm pulling them right now. And Okay, so I'm going to show you the crystals I have. I have a snow quartz. I don't know if you can see it in the light. Blue lace agate. I don't know if you see that. And the card that I felt drawn to was a rose quartz, right? So what would be the message of the rose quartz? Like rose quartz is about love, right? And usually rose quartz, I always feel about self-love. It's good for healing. So if you like, let's say you picked a crystal for the day. So rose quartz is pink. So maybe you should wear pink for the day, right? Maybe you should engage in some practices that make you feel good, with whether that's eating good food, whether whether's that wearing the color pink, right? It also could be sitting in a meditation where you feel like you're showing yourself love, right? So that's a way of pulling a crystal every day. If you don't resonate with cards, you can use crystals. And I know, yes, so those are the 3 stones I just had, right? And I felt guided to pick that, the rose quartz. So that's something that, that you can do. If you don't want to use cards, you can pull crystals. There's also I'm gonna say wrong, but there's a method where if you have a book, right? It's bibliomancy. I think I'm saying the name right. So if you have some spiritual books, right? So maybe you don't want to pull any cards or crystals, you don't feel like meditating, take one of your spiritual books. I'm going to take one right now in front of me. This is called the African Goddess Initiation. This is by Abiola Abrams. She's a wonderful sister on Instagram. She does these amazing things. So what you can do, this is a method where you look through a book. You're going to randomly go through the pages and just stop. So I'm gonna do it right now in front of you all. I'm just gonna hit this. Okay, now I'm gonna read you what it says. So this could be a message for somebody, okay? It is about a goddess called Satira. Okay, I'm going to read you exactly what it says, with my fingers on. It says, according to the lyrics, someone greets Satira and she hikes up her petticoat and starts whining, dancing and rotating her hips like a buxton boar or a buxton lady, depending on who's singing the song. Okay, so that I just did that right now. So maybe for somebody, that's a message for you to be feeling a little more freer in your body, right? To move your body, move your hips. Like that is a message, right? That is something that you could do. So you can pick one of your spiritual books, you can pick a Bible, or you can use any kind of text and pick a line like I just did and read that, record that in your journal, right? And see later on how that message comes through to the day. That's another way you can do it. Also, your dreams. I tell people this is very important. I'm a big stickler on that. Write down your dreams, your night dreams. It's very important because your dreams are full of messages from your spirit guides, from your ancestors. They're full of messages, and you write, if you wake up in the morning, you write down your dreams. It doesn't even matter if it's a fragment, but those dreams I've had in some of the dreams that I've had prophetic dreams, meaning that they were foreshadowings of the future in my dreams. And recording it, I could see, oh my God, this is what this was. Sometimes it'll be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I've had dreams that haven't come to pass maybe a year or 2 later, but I recorded it, right? It's written down. That is a spiritual practice too. And you write down your dreams every day. You can do that as well. Your intuition, I write down my intuitive hits, meaning that certain things I feel intuitively guided to do, I'll write them down. And that's a way of keeping accurate assessment of how your spiritual abilities are getting stronger. And you can do that every day. And it doesn't matter how silly you might think it is. Those quote unquote silly messages could be a powerful message for you that you're discounting. And that's something that you could do every day. Or like I said, if you don't want to do it every day, at least 3 to 4 times a week. I feel that is extremely important. And because when things come to us that are upsetting, when we have dark times or we're challenged spiritually, if we don't tune in, we're going to be like leaves in the wind. We're going to be blown away. And you don't want that to happen. So you must have some daily practice or something to keep you grounded, because your soul is important. It's, this body, this is the vessel that you see, but it's the spirit, it's the soul that, that lives on, and you have to tend to your soul. I think that's important, especially with the way that all the things have been happening in the past 2 years. It's very important. And if you're a mom like me, you have to find ways that you're grounded so you can be rooted, you can feel you can make a safe place, not only for yourself, but for your children or your mates or whoever in your life that's close to you. Yeah, so is there any questions or any thoughts about what I said, or if anybody wants to, jump in, or can we tell people about our dreams? I would tell people that you trust. So if there's somebody you can trust sharing your dreams with, then definitely do so. But if you feel like you can't trust them, then don't. Then, use your journal, and like I said, this is my mystical journal, and write it down. So so that would be my rule of thumb. And if you have children, I like how my mom and me used to talk about our dreams, I do that with my son. So that's a practice you can do with your children as well. And get them in the habit of talking about their dreams so they can begin to understand how important dreams are, how important all the different messages that are coming through the dreams, because I can't tell you how many instances of, if I hadn't have recorded my dreams, and this is another thing, if I hadn't recorded some of my dreams, I might have been blindsided about things that happened in my life. So that's another reason why I think that's very important. Yeah. So does anybody else have a question? Don't be shy. Any comment or anything that comes to mind, or any other spiritual practice that you have tried.
I have a question about how do you know what's your intuition and what's not your intuition?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so your intuition will always be, it will be a kind of a gentle energy, right? Your intuition will never, I'll tell you what it isn't. Your intuition will never berate you. Your intuition will never call you names, will never make you feel bad. Your intuition always has a kind of a loving energy. It's sometimes your intuition can sometimes be a little stern, because this can be your spirit team, your ancestors, your angels, your guides, depending on what you believe in. It can be a little stern at times, but it's always your intuition. It always feels like, yeah, like it feels right. If you're guided to do things and it doesn't resonate with you, then don't do it. And you can always ask this, if you get a message of something you should do and you don't feel comfortable about it, you can say, look, I'm not clear about this. So you can ask your spirit team or your higher self, if you believe in that, God, divine, can you make it clearer to me about what this message is, because I'm not sure. You can always ask for clarity, and the message will come again to you. Okay, so intuition is never mean or cruel. It will never call you names. It will never, if you're getting that kind of energy, that's something totally different. That could be your shadow side coming through, right? Your fears. Or, I have to acknowledge that there are always energies that are not always nice, right? Darker energies, more shadow energies that are out there. So that kind of, like I said, those kind of negative thoughts or things, that's not your intuition. Your intuition will always it's like that small voice inside of you. It's, and also when you really tap into intuition, it's always, I always say, sounds like you, but a smarter you, right? Things that you wouldn't know to do, it just kind of comes through. So that's an important, um, that people should know. And the way you get to know what your intuition or what's not your intuition is doing all of these daily spiritual practices. Or if, like I said, if you can't do it every day, at least 3 to 4 times a week. And I forgot to mention, like, yoga. I don't do yoga, but I know a lot of people love yoga, or any kind of movement in your body, tai chi, or even dancing. Dancing is a way, oh my God, just like I read in that the goddess I just read from, the African goddess initiation book. Moving your body is a way that you can get intuitive downloads, because you're out of your head, you're in your body. So that's another way. You can go for a walk, daily walks. You can get so many, I call them divine downloads, because you're in your body, right? You're kind of in your flow. So that's another way. Yoga, any dancing, exercising, that's another way that can help you bolster your intuition as well. So let me see what else. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Please jump in, my friends. Let me see what else we can talk about. Chakras. Oh, I'm sorry, Abina. Yes.
Yes. So could you explain shadow work?
Of course, yes. So that's a good question. Thank you. So shadow work is the parts of ourselves that we have disowned, that we stuff down, that we push down, that we don't want to acknowledge. Our shadow, the shadow is usually, it's always created in childhood, right? So depending how you were raised or what your parents said to you, like I said, from birth to 7 is those prime kind of years, right? Where you're formed and you don't have any, you're just wide open, right? Oh, okay, yes. Yes, I'll get back to music. Thank you, Stephanie. I wanted to answer that question of Venus about shadow work. So shadow work has to be, when you start delving into shadow work, has to be done carefully. So what I would do, I would say to people, now this might be kind of hard. What is a really painful memory from your childhood? Okay, don't pick the most painful. We don't want to do that. But what's a memory that still makes you sad? And I would like for you to go back into that memory. And if you can remember what was said, what happened to you, if there was any physical hurt or things that were said verbally, that energy of that, whatever happened to you, that created the shadow. I hope that makes sense, right? So I'll give you an example of, for myself. I used to take dancing lessons from when I was from 5 to 13. I was not a dancer, but my mom wanted me to be graceful, right? So one day, she picked me up from class and I wasn't doing the steps right. And when I came home, she was just so angry. And she was like, Michelle, she was like, okay, we're going to do the steps over. So she like so we just came back from dancing school, right? She made me do the steps over and over and over. I must have been like 6. And I just started crying. And I remember that moment. And my mom realized what she was doing. And she was like, oh my God, Michelle, I'm so sorry. Even now she'll talk about the incident. And I remembered that. And what it made me feel like was that I was like, stupid, I was awkward, like all of those things. So that kind of energy, that created a shadow in me. So like so how does that play out? It's like it becomes a perfectionist kind of thing, right? I have to do everything perfect, right? if I can't do it perfectly, there must be something wrong with me, right? Maybe I am stupid. Maybe my mom was right. And of course, my mom apologized to me. And of course, she does not think I'm stupid or awkward. She never thought that. That was my take on what happened. But that created a shadow, right? So knowing that I have that energy, that shadow, I have to always try to dismantle it. Like today I had to like prep for this call, and I was like, I have to make sure that I'm doing everything right. I have to make sure, like, it was that perfectionism thing. I'm Michelle, you don't have to do that. It'll be fine. You're talking from your knowledge, and I know that my spirit team will come in and help me, which they have been doing. So that's that's the shadow work, and that shadow, it gets in our way. And what happens, you have to integrate that shadow into yourself, because once you do that, it makes you brighter, right? So I deal with my perfectionism thing. I deal with sometimes feeling stupid or awkward by encouraging myself, pushing out of my comfort zone, cheering myself on. So I hope at being that answers the question about shadow work. I would do shadow work very gently, and always be kind and loving to yourself, and understand that our shadow was formed when we were babies, right? And our parents did the best that they can. I'm sure most of us hopefully came from good parents, right? Okay, I see a hand up. Hi. Okay. I don't know if that was a clap or a hand. So I hope I answered that question of being about shadow work. And Stephanie, you asked about music, going back to daily practice. Yes, music is huge. Oh my God, thank you for saying that. Music, listening, be very selective about the music that you're listening to, because that music can play in your head, and you want to play uplifting music. I love to listen to, like I said, I like those videos that I can kind of zone out to. If you listen to music that's uplifting, that's a daily practice. Or listen to music that has affirmations. Listening to good music that makes you feel good in your soul and it can make you dance is very important, Stephanie. So music is huge. And if, depending on what genre of music that you like, you can find conscious people. I don't like to use this word, but high vibration, singers and musicians who are really trying to bring that energy out into the world, that you can just tune in. So music is huge. Yes. I do on YouTube, I have, like different playlists. You can I have a prosperity playlist that I like to listen to. If I don't do that every day, I try to do every other day. So music is huge. Make your own playlist, make a, cheering your on playlist, your rich person playlist. Like, you got good love. Yes. And if you want to manifest love, manifesting love, make sure that you listen to music, good love songs, no heartbreak, know that he left me, she left me, they cheated on. No. You want to listen to uplifting love song. So that is so yeah, music is huge. That is, yes, music. You can do that. That can be a daily practice. If anybody's is a singer or songwriter, you're writing your music out. That's so important. So that's another way that you can do that. Yeah, so there's, did anybody have a comment or a question they'd like to share, or just your thoughts about what I'm talking about? Or if you had a daily practice and kind of fallen off, if you want to talk about how you kind of get back on the horse, because
Way off.
so Abina, I would ask you, what do you like? What really lights up your spirit? What really lights up your soul? Like, that would be the thing that I would ask first. Okay, so I'm kind of tuning into you. So I feel like they're saying books might be, because I know you're very busy doing a lot of things. So maybe having a spiritual book that you can read every day. You can read for like 5 minutes. That might help you kind of tune into your spirit, right? Because you're nurturing your soul. And that's simple. Like I said, I have this book. Let me see. Do I have another book? Did I have another book on me? Oh, I should have some more books to show. Wait a minute. Wait. Yes, I do. Hold up. Let me show you. This is something I do every day. Oh, wait. Excuse me. Here we go. I read this every day. It is the Witch's Spell a Day Almanac. Okay, and now I wouldn't say I'm a witch. I love magical practices. I'm very eclectic. I'm an Aquarius, so I'm very eclectic. I read this every day. It has a spell a day, and sometimes they have wonderful spells. I also have this, which I love. I have an astrology book that I read every day. Oh, where's my? Oh, I don't have it in front of me, but I have an astrology book that I read every day. It talks about what's going to happen in my day, the tips for Aquarius. That's another thing. So, Abina, I would use a book. I would find maybe a spiritual book, a book you wanted to read. They also have 365 days a year kind of books. You can use that. And that is easy that anybody can do. And if you are very busy in your day, if you work from home or you're in the office, you can bring that book with you and you can read that. And that is a simple thing that you can do. And that will nourish your soul. And that will keep you kind of attuned to your spirit. Yes, please. Yes. Yes. Is that a high five? I assume that's a high five. Yeah. Oh, thank you. So is anything else that somebody share with me, your spiritual practice or something that you'd like to get back to that you feel would help you, or any questions about what I talked about, or any experiences you've had?
I see Miss Nadej is here. Nadej, hello. Is there an experience you would like to share?
Yes, please.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Uh,
Nade. Hi.
yeah, I'm loving this conversation. It's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I was just here to listen, and that's it. I don't really have much for me, but since the question is asked, I don't know. But I've been doing shadow work, and it started for I think about 4 years. It started like, oh, it's gonna be something quick, like I don't know. I think I was like practicing it one day, or like then one day becomes for a whole week, and a whole week. Now it's like 4 years. I'm still working on it. I'm a work in
Yeah,
progress.
of
And
course.
sometimes when I feel like I got something and then something pops up, so of course I have to handle
Yeah.
the situation. I experienced a lot of like childhood trauma
Mhm.
because my father was very violent, physical violent towards my mother, not only physical, but also verbal. So I also experienced that as in my childhood. But my father was strong barber. He owned his own barber shop, well known to the community. Um, and also he was a gun owner too as well. So,
Okay.
and plus he had several women coming to him. Of course, money, it was like every night there was a party. That is my world. But
Yes.
I always find a way to protect myself and also to protect my mom. I don't want to take too much time,
No,
but
no, but I wanted you to.
I'm gonna try to speed story up.
No, you
But
could.
for me, when I was like 12, and I was like, I had enough seeing my mother with blue eyes, all punched up, face swollen, her being crying and everything. So I draw the line, and I told my father it's the last day that he would put hands on my mother or also flinger that gun around our face, talking about he's gonna use it. So he knew that I was in a state of mind of do or die. Like it's either you go down or I go down.
Right.
So since then, he never did that. For me, as a young child, experiencing that and growing up to be my adulthood, I thought that was something that was handled. I thought like, it was something that, okay, I'm doing good, I'm going to school and everything like that. I graduated. But then I was like, no, there's still traumas that I needed to work on. I was blessed to take that initiative early on of my age, in my 20s, to, you know, see the root of this, of
Yeah.
my father's behavior. And then why is it that I had temper issues? Why is it that I had anger? Or why is it that, I was like upset with certain things, or like disowned my family? But as more healing and conversation with my father, then it helps me to heal within myself and also to heal with him. And there was a lot of missing pieces that I didn't get and he didn't understand. But now he transitioned, so I don't have guilt, because at the end we found love. He
That's good.
loved me and adored me as a daughter, so I don't have like the love insecurity or emotion, like, those things. My mother, she's still like, we're still working, because she, as a woman, she has been through a whole lot. She
Yeah.
experienced trauma within herself. She's a baby boomer, so different culture, so it is a work in progress. But however, I take the the initiative to do the work right now. So as
Yeah.
I'm doing shadow work for myself, I'm also extending it towards her. Now, sometimes things does not move the way that I
Where's your
want,
cup,
the
baby?
pace that I would like, or move to the fast. But I try
I don't know.
to
Where's your cup?
listen. I try to be obedient and things like that. So I do come through a lot of challenges, so for me, my understanding when I was doing shadow work, it was like, oh, you handle this and then everything else is good. But then that's not what happened. I'm
Right.
not, so that is one. So, the one thing about it is, within everything that happened, I think like I talked about it with the last time within the group, that I do like a lot of like community activities.
Yes.
Um, and you see the background is environmental related, and sometimes you have to see like politicians and stuff like that. Now all of this mystical, magical, beautiful world that we're talking about, for them, they would not understand it. Oof.
Yes.
So um one thing that trauma, and it's this year, it's last year, I think it was last year, is that because I do love food, and I appreciate food, because for me, food, I act like it's intimacy. It is
Oh my
connection
God.
within the earth. It is connection within the soil. You eating your food for what? To heal your body, to regenerate you, to send you messages. So when I eat the food that I like and enjoy, it's like a celebration. Some guys, they go crazy when they see me eating. But one particular person, she has a PhD, and I think, it's just like this dark force. She was like trying to nitpick to see like all my flaws. She was just like pretending to
Oh,
be my friend, and
yes.
it was like, but my chakra was with me. And so I knew like she was not a person that I can even discuss personal things with.
Yes.
And then within that, at the end, she came to the conclusion that it was Martin Luther King's birthday,
Mhm.
and it was January 19th, Martin Luther King's birthday. It was a event that we did, to celebrate. So I was even more elated, because I was like more of a like in a white community, and then they're celebrating Martin Luther King for the
Yes.
first time. It was in a church, so I was like, okay, I gotta make sure everything goes well,
Right, of
and stuff
course.
like that.
Yes.
But I think she got jealous, and felt very insecure about my presence and everything. I like. And then at the end, she was keep on asking me to do stuff for her. It's trying to distract me from my actual things that I was doing. But I was so focused to make sure that this event happened well from beginning to end, even though there was certain things that popped up and everything like that. But I was like, the show must go on. They got to keep on. But
Yes.
anyway,
Right.
at the end, she was a little aggressive. She was a little mean and stuff like that. But I just didn't pay no mind to it. The next day, I also knew that I had to go and see Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. So for me, I'm like, okay. And we spent a whole week trying to get this event like together. And next
Wow.
thing you know, her conclusion was I was stealing cheese and crackers.
Oh, it's
And it was like, but I did make two plates. It was another sister that I invited, a drummer. Martin Luther King is really big, and they
yeah,
had nobody to represent, which is the African diet, like bringing the African root. And I was
yeah,
like, no, we have to have something. So I brought a sister, and she was more elated to play the drums and stuff. She made special accommodation for me because she already had different gigs, and
yes,
I knew that she was going from place to place to celebrate Martin Luther King. And I knew that, time was short, and I knew she was not going to eat. So I
of
fixed
course.
two plates, one for her and one for her friend. And, we didn't have much food as like big food. We just had like snacks and stuff like that. So I hurry up. So the woman, she only saw me hurry up and fixing the plate, but she didn't see what I was doing with it. So she ended up accusing me stealing cheese and crackers. It really hurt my feelings. I was embarrassed, humiliated. I felt like my crown just was like completely, my hair was completely like stripped. I
Yes.
felt like worth of nothing. I felt like it was just like a bunch of emotions. I really felt death. I didn't feel alive. I felt like in the most worstest feeling that I could ever feel. And I haven't felt like that for a very long time. And I'm still now coping with it, So
Yes,
that's
because
that's one of my trauma. At
yes,
the
I was.
end,
Mhm.
at the end, what they had to go, because it was in a church community, they had to go and look at the camera. She really tried to put me in a bad light, but I was completely vulnerable. I was open. My mother was in a verge of going blind. um the city is shutting down, the pandemic is happening. It was just a lot of things bubbling up and everything, and then for me to hear something like that, it really put me in a dark place, and then it really jeopardized my relationship within the creator, because I was doing like like servant, to
Right.
the earth, to the community. So it really brought me into a dark place. I know sometimes when I do think about it, I do some of the practices, which is, you know reversing that, giving yourself some love, giving myself some attention, doing the
Yes.
spiritual bath, even some like doing like hair oils, like, sometimes I put mint, smelling like, lavender and things
Oh,
like that.
yes.
I don't do it every day, but every day I try to do something different so I won't get tired of, practicing self-care and self-love. So
Yes.
one day I probably might be planting some positive affirmation around New York City, wherever I may be, or probably sprinkle some cover crops around the city because we have a soil issue. And, or sometimes I'll do my spiritual bath, my candles. Oh, I also play instruments too. I'm not a
Oh,
professional. I'm just
wow.
like learning how to play instruments. So I do have a flute, I do have a harmonica,
Oh,
I
that's
do have my
neat.
little bells and stuff like that.
So then,
Harmonicas, when I do practice, I have to find a place where it's like a place of where it's only me, because if I'm practicing at a park or something like that, next thing you know, if I'm closing my eyes and I'm practicing, I open my eyes, I have an audience. So then I'm like, I'm practicing.
But you must be good. You have a good audience kind of around you, you
I
know?
don't know. It's something, the birds will be coming and everything, and people will be asking me questions. So, but it's still something I'm still working on with.
Right.
Of course, the community knew, they really felt bad about the whole situation. They had to go back to the camera. It was archangels who was watching over me, but I had to be on survival mode because I had someone else that I had to save, which was my mom. So that's
Yeah.
a situation that I have not really addressed to the person.
Yes, I can understand that. And when you were talking, I got a couple of things. Me being intuitive all the time. Um, the yellow, there's no accident that you have yellow on and I have yellow on, right? So I'm thinking of like that solar chakra energy, like right there. And when you were saying about your dad, that is like warrior goddess energy. And the goddess that came up, Naji, is Kali Ma, the Hindu goddess.
Uh-huh,
She is the goddess of destruction, but also
uh-huh,
creation. So she destroys things so they can
uh-huh.
be created, right? And I think the lady, I'm pretty sure, was threatened by your power, and she
Mhm,
didn't like that, and she wanted to uh dim your light, right? And I'm
mhm.
pretty sure, and thank you for sharing your story of things that happened to you. I thank you for sharing that. I am sure that the way she treated you might have echoed with things from your childhood, and I feel like
Mhm.
that is why uh that's why you went to that dark place. And she is a representation of just still those things, like you said, those unhealed parts of yourself, right? She represented that to you.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and this is, I don't know if anybody knows, there's an author called Neville Goddard. He talks about law of assumption, and one of the things that he uses is like you were saying about you reverse things. Like
Mhm.
he goes that you go to something that happens and you reverse what happens in your memory, right? So you flip the script. So when you go back to that memory, like instead of thinking about what she said, like think about what you would have what you would have liked for her to have said to you. What would
Mhm.
you have liked for her? How would you like for her to treat you? And in a way, it's kind of tricking your mind, but it's also making the memory less painful. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? What I'm saying? Because
Yeah, I'm listening.
you don't want that to become a thing. And I think she, like I said, I'm sure she echoed things that maybe somewhere else in your life somebody thought that you stole something. You see what I'm saying? Or somebody thought maybe you were getting too big for your britches, right? You're doing
Yeah.
too much, and you were just being you, because you do
Yeah.
have a powerful. Any kid at 12 years old who's going to protect your mom and say,
Oh
if
yeah.
you do this, I'm going to take you out. That says a lot about you and your strength and your spirit. Like
Yeah.
I
A lot
cannot
of people keep on a lot of people keep on saying, "Oh, strong, strong." Even yesterday, I was like attending a art workshop, and then they were like, "Oh my God, you're so strong." I'm just like, "No, no, no, no." I'm like, I'm a human being. I don't know about the strongness. I was like, "Oh."
you have strength. I don't know if you work with goddesses, but when you're talking, I would work with Isis, the goddess
Uh-huh.
Isis, and there's, I think it's Sarasvati. I think that's the goddess. She's the Hindu goddess of the arts and of learning, right? And I
Oh.
know, like you said, you're very it seems like you're very concerned about the community and the environment. Like working with these strong, and I know you don't think we're strong, but I would say powerful, in a good way. Not the self-sacrificing strong woman, but it's
Okay.
like you're coming from your, like I said, your solar chakra, like your yellow flowers. You're coming from your inner sun. you know, that inner son is still, it's despite everything that happened to you as a kid, your inner son is so still vibrant in you. Does
Yes.
that,
Yeah,
you know?
I had to learn about it. And people sometimes will be like, oh, she has such a bad trauma. How come she's not depressed? How come she's not taking drugs? How
It
come she's
wasn't,
not like an alcoholic? And I'm like,
yeah,
no,
that's not what you're
I,
supposed to do. That's
yeah,
not your spirit.
no, it's not. And I can't even pretend. I love life.
Yeah,
I
you're,
enjoy living, you know?
yeah, that's
So,
part of your, you know, I believe in past lives. I do. And I'm pretty sure probably in your past life, you were probably a warrior, right? Or
mm,
somebody that maybe you have an adventurous spirit. Like that's just you. So it didn't defeat you. In
hmm,
fact, it might have been the adversity you had as a child probably even helped you in a different kind of way. It gave you, I know you hate this word, but the strength, the power to
hmm,
overcome things, and you shine that power out to other people too,
hmm,
right?
hmm.
You
Yes.
help, you inspire your mom, you're helping your mom, you're big in the community. So that power, you just like the sun. You're like the
Hmm.
sun. You just
Oh,
radiate that
okay.
everywhere. You feel what I'm saying? But as the
Yeah,
sun, you don't want to get burnt out.
exactly.
So you have to make sure that, you know, and I'm doing this because they're saying this to me. So you have to bring in more moon energy, right? Lunar energy. You have to take time to, I love how you say you use oils as a
Hmm.
daily practice. I would do things, make sure that you do your cleansing bath so you continue that, because you radiate a lot of power, but then you need to power down, because
Okay.
you don't want to sustain, you can't sustain that, because you, which is what's probably been happening, you've been burning out, and
Uh,
you don't want to do that. So make sure you do things that are healing, and that's more um like this rose quartz, that's more pink energy, that's more
mhm.
heart chakra, like doing things um that are more gentle for you. Does that make sense? So we balance the strong warrior goddess into more like a love goddess. Does that, I
Okay.
hope that makes sense. Like
Yes, it
uh
makes sense. I'm ready. I'm taking
Venus,
notes down.
Venus or Oshun, Aphrodite, any love goddess. If you look into the love goddesses, you know, where I would wear, you know, maybe things that make you feel romantic, romantic clothes, or listen to music like that. So, and by doing that, that's also shadow work too, because you're healing the little girl in you. Like think about the things that little Najee love, like
Hmm.
those things, and that could kind of help, you know, heal that, so you can have the balance of the strong in you and
Hmm.
then the gentle
Hmm.
energy. So
Yeah.
you can do that. And that could be a daily practice where you talk to your little self, to the
Yes, I do that.
5-year-old self.
Yes, I do that.
So
Um,
just,
what
you know,
I remind her, she is love, and I remind her that she's not invisible and things like
yes.
that.
And
Yeah.
remind yourself that you're the adult you, you're not invisible. And when people try to make you invisible,
Uh-huh.
then you just have to, like that lady tried to do, you got to up your self-love. You got to up that
Hmm.
nurturing the younger in you. Because the more
Hmm.
you do that, then the more people like that should start to fade away, right?
Hmm.
You'll counter less of them because you're healing that
Well,
part of.
right now, what I did is that I kind of like, they say that I'm running away or I'm isolating myself, but I'm not. I am stepping back
Yeah.
and just seeing the view of how things are playing out, and also giving myself the care. You
Yeah.
are right when you said, because at that point, it was, I was meeting a lot of people who do a lot of like decision making within New York, Manhattan. So,
Right.
yes, there was a little insecurity of me talking about my missions and vision. And then felt like insecure, not equivalent with them too, because these are like people who has degrees, doctor, PhD, and all of this stuff, professors, and you know, and I felt like there was an insecurity of me. However, I don't have the woman jealousy. I don't have the woman envy or the woman like, oh, she has that. Oh, I want that too. I'm like, girl, if you have this, this is good for you. When it's not for me, I'll have my own. I was always like a unique odd child anyway. So I was like, I don't want to wear something that I see everybody wearing too. I'm more like a person. I like to wear something completely. If I have it, I have it. If I don't, it's okay with me. And I like to in power us women. Yeah, but
Yes,
that's not what I got.
I got you. I got you. And the fact that you were with all those powerful people says a lot about your own power, that you were able to walk with them. And even whatever insecurities you had, you still were radiating. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that lady and other people have just been jealous of your son. And I would also, Najee, look at the goddess Hathor for you. That might be another. And okay, back to daily practices. Researching goddesses and gods is a beautiful daily practice. You find, if you connect with a certain god or goddess, you can research them. Do meditations, write poetry to them. Find out what offerings you can do to them. That's another daily practice. Or if you believe in one god, that's another way, you sit down and pray to God. So that's a daily practice as well, just
Okay.
bringing that in. And also I would tell everybody to make sure that you, this is another daily practice, make sure that you do shielding, basic shielding when you're out in the world. A basic shield is to bring in, you can use white light or whatever your favorite color, and imagine there's a shield, right? And so your protect is in the shield or this bubble, and negative energy bounces off the bubble. It can't
Okay.
come in, only positive energy. And that's a way that you can make sure that you're not leaking energy, and your sun, your inner sun, your fire is protected, right? So if people start saying nasty things, whatever, you might feel it, but it won't be as much. And that's something.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, Phil,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
taking the time.
Oh, of course. And thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Really. So keep shining. I love that. So thank you.
You mentioned something before about past life Akashic records. Could you explain more about that, please?
Okay, yes, I will. So Stephanie, who's here on the call, I always, when I talk to her, I always feel the Akashic records with her. I'm not trying to shout you out, Stephanie, but I always do. So the Akashic, and wait a minute, I think, okay, one of the cards of the day that I pulled 3 cards, is the Akashic, I don't know if you guys can see, the Akashic records. Like literally, that was one of my cards of the day. It says clearing old stories, releasing past lives, freedom. Okay, so the Akashic records, my belief that it's a place in the astral, in the spirit world, where in this place, and if people call it different things, oh, thank you, Stephanie. Where in this place, it's depending on how you see the Akashic records, it can be a beautiful library, like a beautiful university. For some people, I just heard somebody say, like, for some people, it might be a beautiful store where there's a fountain coming from it in the middle. But the Akashic records, it is a record of everything that you have done. What, your past, present, and future is in these Akashic records. And not only that, your past lives, right? People say there are different ways to access the Akashic records. I believe that there are meditations online that you can look up to, but I think a simple way of doing that is to visualize like a beautiful library or a beautiful sacred place, right? And you go there and you ask for knowledge from the Akashic records. Like, there's something I want to know. Can you share something with me? And if you do this meditation, you might see a past life. You might see some of your recent past, maybe them explaining things to you or seeing things for your future. So it is, I feel it's a real place that we all go to in our dreams or doing astral projection. And I'm pretty sure when we pass on from this life and go to the next life, because I know people believe that we do a spiritual review. I'm pretty sure that maybe at some point we will go the Akashic records again, and maybe look at our file to see if we did everything in this lifetime we were supposed to do. But I believe it's a real place and it can be accessed. I feel that everybody can access it. Some people feel like you need special abilities or, but like my friend Stephanie here, I feel like she has a stronger connection. I have been to Akashic records in dreams, the way that it feels to me. I have gotten glimpses of pretty much my future, not so much my past life, because I don't think I asked for that. And I remember just being connected to, you know, some of my guides, some of my angels. This is a funny story. There was one that it was like a dream. It was a dream. And I was in the Akashic records and I was concerned about my son. And it was like an angel, and the place, this actual place looked like an office, like a regular office building that you would go to. And I was asking, like, is my son gonna be okay? Is he gonna be okay? And the angel looked at me like with disdain, and he looked at my son's file. Now I couldn't see the file, but I could see him looking through, and he was like, your son's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. And I was like, I want to know. He was like, okay, he's gonna be fine. And then the angel was like, kind of like, he didn't want to hear from me. And then I just kind of woke up and I was like, oh my God. So I feel like that was part of the Akashic records too. But I guess there were some things I wasn't supposed to know about my son's future, but I was just to know that he was going to be okay. So, but the Akashic records is a real place and it can be accessed. I feel at any time. And if, you could always ask your angels or your guides or whomever you're connected to spiritually to help you get to the Akashic records. And I would ask for any knowledge that you need to know now, right? Unless you're into past lives, because maybe knowing about your past life, maybe it might help you or might be overwhelming. So I would ask specifically for the knowledge that can help you now. You know, keep it very simple. You know, that can help. So Abina, I hope that I answered that. And on YouTube, I'm so sorry, my son is so loud, excuse me. On YouTube, there are meditations by the Akashic records that you can look through, you can listen to and help you go to meditation. So I hope that I answered that question. And past lives, I do believe in past lives. I do believe past lives exist. I did a meditation where I saw 2 or 3 past lives of me briefly, and they kind of made sense with who I am now. So I do believe that we've lived before, definitely.
So how do you access it, or just go to the meditations on YouTube?
I would do this. If you don't want to do the meditation, this is what I would do. I would do a meditation myself, whereas I would sit, get relaxed, right? And visualize myself. Because in my dreams, the way that Akashic records to me always looks like a beautiful, like, university. So you can visualize yourself, you close your eyes, visualize yourself in a beautiful library or a beautiful university. If you've ever been to college or seen colleges, a beautiful university or library, and visualize yourself, close your eyes, visualize yourself going into the Akashic records. And then as you're going through this meditation that you can do yourself, you know, ask to be shown. To third eye, ask or hear, right? That's clear audient, to be shown or to see or even to feel, clairsentient, something of knowledge that I need to know now. And you ask it open-endedly. And you can also ask for knowledge that's a reassuring that's maybe more on the positive side that you could handle. And I would do that. And like I said, you could do that tomorrow. Close your eyes and you see what you get. And I'm pretty sure that something will come forward, perhaps a guide or an angel, or you may be shown certain things and some kind of knowledge will come to you. Now, if it doesn't work the first time, don't be discouraged. Maybe you'd have to do the meditation again, right? Maybe you have to do 2 or 3 times, but that's easy. If you don't want to watch a meditation on YouTube, you do as simply as that. And I don't mean to say simple, but close your eyes, ground yourself, breathe, and you can put a timer on for yourself, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and see what happens. And I'm pretty sure that there will be some information will come through. And once again, when you do that kind of meditation, accessing Akashic records, make sure you write it down. Write it down. I don't care how simple it is, write it down. So that's a way that you can, yes, and they're telling me this too. I would also ask that before you go to Akashic records, I'm getting this spiritual, just to say that you're protected as you go through, right? That there's like a, you have you're protected, divinely protected, and the knowledge that you are seeking will be divine knowledge, right? Of good and of the highest light, right? Because that's important. Yes, thank you, because they're saying that to me. Because like with everything, there's a duality, right? And everything there's the light side and the shadow side. Now the shadow side is not always evil, but like I said, there could be other energies that may come through. So make sure you just, say that protection for yourself and just, and see what happens. So that's what I would do. And that's something that I've done. So I hope that answers that question. So
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, listening to you, it's bringing up these other questions. So when you talk about, intuitive abilities, what would you say to people who, like you, may have known that as a child they had these abilities, but they were afraid or they were told that it was bad? So what counsel would you offer to them?
Okay, I would say to you that these are divinely given gifts. There is nothing evil or bad about these gifts. I know that people are told that they're demonic or the evil. That is not true. All the years I've been doing this work, I have rarely encountered anything evil or dark. And that's not to say if you have encountered something like that, that's just something about you. I would embrace your spiritual gifts because they are like the ace. It's like the ace in your pocket. They're like the lucky charm. I can't tell you how many times my intuition has saved me. I'm sure my intuition has saved me from things that I don't even know, but I know of things that saved me from things that I could have went down a wrong path. So I would encourage everyone to embrace your gifts. Like there are many gifts: clairsentient, which is clear feeling; claircognizant, which is clear knowing; clairaudient is clear hearing; clairvoyant is clear seeing. Those are the 4 main clears, but there are other, and spiritual gifts. There's so many other spiritual gifts, but embrace them slowly. Energy doesn't lie. Okay, that's a main thing I tell people. If you meet somebody or you're in a situation or a place or an event and something feels off, trust that it's off. Now, you may not know why, but trust that you get that feeling. And I'm going to be honest. We've heard of a lot of stories about women, and men get sexually assaulted too. I'm not going to say that. Can you have more than one? Yes, you can, Monica. Yes, you can. Most people have more than one. But the point I was making is that there have been situations where women have found themselves in situations where they felt uncomfortable. and they wouldn't leave because, oh, maybe it's imagination, no, you know, oh, I don't, like, no. Something feels off, trust that and get out, right? Or just, the intuition is guiding you. So back to Monica's question, yes, you could have more than one gift. My gifts are, I'm clairaudient, which means I hear. When I say I hear, it's, my guides talk to me, but it sounds like me, but it's them, right? That's clairaudient. Clairvoyant is I see. So I see images of things. When I talk to people, I see, like when I was talking to Najee, I saw, they showed me the goddess Kali Ma, and I saw the goddess Hathor. Like I saw a quick image of those goddesses. So I knew that was for her. So yes, you could have more than one gift. Probably most people have 2 to 3 gifts, and your gifts are a natural extension probably of your personality, of how you are as a person. So yes, you have more than one gift, and please embrace your spiritual gifts. And I don't care what people tell you, if they're wrong or bad, these are divinely given gifts that we're supposed to use. We're supposed to use these gifts. They're supposed to help make our life better. I'll tell you a story. I was much older when I had my son. When I was 10 years old, true story, I was 10 years old. I was hanging out with my friends, and my best friends at the time was like, oh, I'm gonna have a baby at 20. Another one's like, I'm gonna have a baby at 25. I was 10 years old, and I said, I'm gonna have a baby when I'm 40 or older. I was 10. And my friends looked at me like, what? I was like, yeah. I had my son when I was 42. But I knew when I was 10, I was going to have a child much later. And actually that helped me when I was just going through stuff. And I was like, maybe I'll never have a baby, or maybe this is insane. But I remember that spontaneous kind of intuitive download. And that saved me. I was 10. What 10-year-old knows like when they're gonna have a kid? So that's and that, like I said, that saved me and that helped me. And then I was able to have my son, you know, Jake, at 42, which was a blessing. So, and I was able to use that. So that's one example that I would use. So please embrace your spiritual gifts. If there are people around you that don't understand your spiritual gifts, do not talk to them. Do not share your insights with them. What is it? You don't give pearls to swine is the saying. Don't share your spiritual practice with people that don't understand. Don't share these spiritual downloads with people that cannot understand, because what happens, it'll just spoil what you're doing. And for a long time, a lot of people didn't know the intuitive work I did. My mom did, and a couple of my friends, but I kept it private because, you know, when I would tell certain people, I would get flack. Yes, Stephanie's true. Gonna be, oh, you're doing that? Why are you doing that? Oh, that's so strange, or that. But it wasn't strange to me. It was me. And you can shift some life for, oh, of course, you can shapeshift in your yes. That's so, Monica. Yes, you can shapeshift in your dreams. We didn't talk about this, but you could have animal allies. So let's say you said a raven. If you shapeshift into a raven, that could be one of your animal guides. I mean, animals that I like to work with are wolves. I like to work with dolphins, and behind me you can see unicorns. I have affinity for unicorns. I like to work with unicorn energy. So if you shapeshift in a dream, yes, and that could be that raven or a certain animal wants to work with you, right? And that could be a daily practice to you, researching. Okay, so ravens and crows, they're actually like cousins, right? I think in animal terms, but ravens in magic, right? Ravens are usually able to travel between, okay, so you're not sure, okay, I understand. Ravens have an access to deeper knowledge, I think, than the crows, because ravens can go between the worlds, right? Because they eat the dead. I believe that Odin had a raven, right? And of course, you know the famous poem by Edgar Allan Poe. So ravens, I think, are a little bit more magically attuned to different realms than the crow, but the crow still has their own magical abilities. So I would ask you, okay, what about time? Okay, so Monica, what I would do is I would research both raven and crow and see which one resonates with you. And if you dream about them again, hopefully try to remember which one it is. Is it raven or crow, or which one you feel drawn to? Time travel. Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's better I just explain it.
Okay,
And
yes, please. Hi.
So, hi, nice to meet you, and
Nice
I'm so grateful to be here. So what I was doing, I was working on doing some womb work, and I had a dream that the woman that was like my guide helping me, that I saw her and her family and her husband, but it was in the past. And in the dream, I knew I wasn't in my body. Like I was in some kind of bird, but I knew it was a black bird.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure if it was like a raven or a crow. So when I had told, I call her my teacher. When I told her about it, she told me that I time traveled because
you went into the past.
Yeah, and I was like, what? I didn't even know that was possible or how I did that or what. And she said, yes, every detail that I told her, she remembered, like about her ex-husband and the age of her daughter and where they were at that time.
Oh, I gotta that.
So she told me I time traveled, but then in the dream, I remembered that I was looking at them. I was watching from the window, what do you call it? Panel? Window
right,
panel.
as the bird, as the crow or the raven, you were looking.
And I knew it had to be a bird too, because I wasn't inside or in my form. It was just interesting. So that's the best way I could explain it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So Monica, so first of all, between the crow and the raven, which one do you feel more? Jake, close the door. I'm sorry, that was my son. Jake, close the door. Jake, just close my door. I'm so sorry, my son.
That's okay.
So, which one do you feel closer to, the raven or the crow? Like, if you had to think,
don't think. Okay, raven just keeps popping up. Raven.
Okay, so
maybe it's raven.
So I would take raven, and I would want you, Monica, to look up research. Jake, shh. I would tell you, Monica, to look up. This could be part of your daily practice, to look up about raven, right? The magic of ravens, who's connected to raven. Like, that would be important. Yes, you could time travel, because the concept of time that we have I don't feel accurate. Time is, I feel the past and the present and the future can coexist at the same time.
Oh, so
that's what you saw. So the past is still, I know scientifically they'll prove that theory, but yes. So that's why you're able to see the past, but you flew as a raven, which.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, because something, I had another dream about seeing a person that I have no idea who he is. Like, I don't even know him, but it's like I saw in that same shape, like I was in a bird, what was going on in his life. And because I wasn't sure about it, I had asked like some other people, and they were saying no, that because you don't know him, and
that's the future.
But then I do tarot readings, and I did the pendulum, because like my gut just tell me that's real what you saw. And when I asked, is that really what the guy is, or the present? And it said yes. So I was like, all right,
And
maybe
that
I
was
should. Yeah.
and that was a dream, right?
Yes, it was in a dream. It was like a 3-part dream. So I saw 3, like the first part was I was in my form of actually meeting the guy. And then the other 2 parts of the dream is like I shifted into not my body, but into something else to be able to like look at him. It's like I'm watching him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you know, in the I'm sorry. In the, you know, because when we dream, right? Because sometimes you could dream and walk
Yeah.
into other people's realities.
Oh,
I've
I
had
see.
that where I've dreamed things. I'm like, okay, this is not me. Jay, close my door, please. Thank you. Where I've dreamed about people, I'm like, I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah.
And I'm watching them, but I know I don't know them. So you could have walked into this person's dream in their reality as you were dreaming. And maybe that person, maybe, I don't know, maybe you're going to meet him at some point, or maybe was showing you your gift that you could actually do this. And once again, you were a bird, you were
yeah.
raven. So
I asked that too if I'm gonna meet him, but it said no.
So it might have been Monica to show you how spiritually, you know,
the spiritual part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because wait, I'm gonna look up Raven, you know, right now so I can see a little bit.
Because I was just wondering, like, I said, why am I seeing this if I'm not gonna meet this dude? And thank God I'm not gonna meet him because it was some really bad stuff.
Oh
you
man.
know? Yeah. I said, oh no.
That's yeah. Ravens symbolize wisdom, affection, healing powers, longevity, death, and fertility. Yeah, so Raven could be your spirit guide. Like that's a way that you're able to, and also that's protection. So if you're dreaming and you're seeing things, if somebody looks at you in the dream, they won't see you, Monica. They'll see the Raven.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. Yeah. I know already that an owl is my spirit guide too.
Oh wow.
Because I've had a lot of dreams that the owls come in to give me a message, but I could never hear them or I forget what they're saying. And then one time I had a dream about snowing, that snow was coming, that something was coming. And then on the day that it actually snowed in real life, I saw the owl there on the windowsill.
Wow.
It was a barreled owl, I think.
I know what you're talking about. That's really cool. I love
and that was cool.
Yeah. So you have owl and raven. And what you can ask is, you can do this tomorrow or when we, when this finishes, owl is energy, spirit energy. You say, owl, I know I haven't been hearing you, but can you help me to hear you better or remember the dreams that you have with the owl? But Monica, I think that's wonderful. So look up research on raven, because I'm pretty sure raven is your spirit animal too. So you have owl and raven, and you probably have maybe another,
the
spirit, another bird.
I think eagle too.
Oh my God. So Monica, what's your sign? What's your
a Virgo?
You're a Virgo. Because I thought you were gonna say your air sign. So you have owl, eagle, and raven. That's really interesting. And the thing about birds, which birds they can see far.
Yeah.
Right. And once again, that time traveling. So you could still, as a bird, and you could go through different portals. Like you can see past, present, and future. It's easy for you. And I'm gonna go a little deep here, but in your family line, I don't know, because most of us, if we're intuitive, there's somebody in our family that's intuitive as well. You can even have people in your family actually shape shift at some point, and maybe that knowledge was lost, but you have it in your DNA kind of there, and that may be why your spirit guides, your spirit animals are these specific, very powerful birds, because eagle, owl, and raven are like you know.
I'm wondering if it's my grandmother from my mother's side, because she came through, and I found out that she's my guardian angel, and I'm starting to hear her a lot more. So I'm wondering, I should just ask her if it comes
You
from
should
her line.
ask her, because
Yeah.
she can help you, because, and if your grandmother doesn't know, and since she's on the other side, correct?
Yes, correct.
She
She
can ask.
transitioned a long time ago when my
So,
mom was a baby.
oh wow, okay. So you can ask her. And do you have a picture of your grandma?
Yeah, unfortunately, just one picture.
That's fine. That's fine. You could use it. You could talk to your grandma. And if your grandmother doesn't know, since she's on the other side, she could bring forward maybe somebody else who it may be further back than your grandmother that can help you. Like, she can be the guide to help you to figure that out. And that's on your mom's side, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And you may also have on your father's side too. So that's something to think about. But I've heard of people having spirit animals, but not all three like that. Not eagle, owl, or raven together.
Oh,
That's not,
okay.
for me, on my experience, that's kind of unusual. So that's, I'm thinking there's some shape shifting there. So okay, but ask your grandma. And and Monica, that also means in your daily life, you should be able to see. Like, and you're probably clairvoyant as well, and maybe you don't know it, but you should have the ability to see what other people cannot see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think what happened was I've seen it, but like I didn't trust myself, or like my intuition, or like I told other people about it and I didn't get the right response, and it just made me think that, you know, it wasn't real, or I was just imagining things, or you know, it came from something that I heard, or my fears or something. But then like now, since like my grandmother, and like she's the guardian angel too, like I've actually heard her voice and like tell me like to do things. So now it's like it's getting stronger now, like that intuition stronger. And I'm starting to like decipher the difference. And know, okay, this is what really is. And I'm just at a point where I'm trying to piece everything together, like understand all this, like the spiritual stuff, and like where I belong with it.
I understand that. Yeah, and it's a journey, and you clairaudient because you can hear your grandmother.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another gift. And like I tell people, you know, write everything, all these spiritual practices, things that have to, write it down. Trust yourself, and don't share any spiritual information unless you are guided to specifically to share things. I would keep it close to you, because you're still getting your strength spiritually. So you need to keep it close to you. Right. That's, and if I know it's something about owls and ravens, like owls are at night, and I believe ravens are too, I'm not sure, but definitely owls ride by night, you know, under the cover of darkness to hide themselves, right? To make sure that they're safe. So keep those spiritual things to yourself and trust yourself. And I'm pretty sure you really, I also get to, Monica, I'm not trying to figure out, you might be a medium as well. That might be something else that you might have.
Yeah, I was told that before too, and I heard them too.
Okay, because I heard that.
Yeah.
So
I've actually heard people already
say that to you. Okay,
no,
so
and I've actually heard them, like spirit come through, like when I was doing tarot readings, someone's family member came through, but during that time I didn't understand it, because the woman's grandmother was trying to tell me that I'm her grandmother, that she was coming through, but I didn't trust myself because I was thinking about my grandmother. But I actually heard her say grandma.
Yes.
I'm grandma.
Yes.
So at that time I didn't get it. But then I realized when I asked the lady that I was doing the reading for, like I was describing who the woman was that the spirit was coming through. And she said, "Oh, that's my grandma." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yes.
It was.
Yeah. So you have, and Monica, this is for you and everybody watching. When this is what I do. Like I just told you, I heard that you're a medium. Like when you get the information, you're supposed to tell people, just tell them. Like, don't
I
second
see.
guess yourself. Because
That's the
even
problem.
sometimes,
I second guess. I do it really bad, second guessing.
yeah, even at this point, I still do it too sometimes, but I know I just have to get the information out. And if it's wrong, okay, because sometimes I'll tell people stuff and like, that doesn't make sense, but then they'll come back later and go, oh my God, you were right. So just try. It's a process. So just keep trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of my self-care part of like just letting it go, like to stop second guessing myself.
Yeah, you got to trust yourself. Trust that what you're getting is true. This is true information. And yeah, and mediumship you can't fake. Either you have it or you don't. I'm being totally honest. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you're definitely a spiritual heavy hitter. So just trust yourself and just continue to just trust yourself and practice, and talk to Owl, talk to Eagle, and talk to Raven, and they'll help. And your grandmother, you got your grandmother, like that's perfect. She will help guide you through all of this.
Okay.
Too.
That sounds good.
Monica, thank you for sharing. You.
You're welcome. Okay, let me mute myself in case more people want to talk.
Wow, that was like, wow. I love it, talking about the idea of time and Akashic records and shape shifting. Like, I'm here for all of it. And I kind of paused when you said walking into in another person's dream, like, whoa, okay, that's a kind of new one, but I'm here for all of it.
I'm glad. Yeah, because I've walked into other people's dreams. So yeah, so many things that we're told aren't real are real. So many things that we see in movies, like, oh, that doesn't happen. I believe a lot of things happen. So yeah, walking in people's dreams, time travel, and things that they haven't proved scientifically now, they will in the future. I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, and everybody listening to this, just trust yourself, trust your spiritual gifts. I said, so someone told me don't call them gifts because it makes it sound special, but trust your spiritual strengths. How about that? I say that, trust them. They're there to help us. And I want to thank you everybody for sharing just great information, and and just confirming that we all have these special abilities, and the world is a lot more magical and mystical than we've been led to believe. I mean, I know that, and I'm pretty sure you all know that too, right?
So we do have some people here. Okay, Monica, now I know who you are, Monica. Like, you are just a bad person. Okay. Hello, Stephanie, and there's Mr. Kofi Ajay. Would you have anything to say, Mr. Ajay?
Yes, hi. Would you do something you want to say? Only if you feel comfortable.
For now, no, I didn't join it from the beginning, so I'm just listening.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I should have changed this to all things magic.
It just, and it just kind of happened like that. And that's kind of me. I know we had our topic, but as you can see, when I start talking to people, just all this intuitive stuff steps forward, and yeah, all things magical. So when I come back again, I think that's probably the title of
So could you say a little more about yourself, kind of for the people who are tuning in later, and what services you offer and things like that?
Oh, of course, yes. So, hi everybody. I am Michelle Swan Graham on Instagram. I am Michelle Swan Graham. You can find me. My intuitive website is michelleofdreams.weebly.com. I offer intuitive readings. I offer 30-minute readings, an hour reading. I also teach people how to be intuitive as well, which I have my Vibing with the Universe course, which is a one-on-one course where I teach people how to be intuitive. And that's like, I have a 10-week program and a 26-week program. And that's one-on-one with me. You could find me, of course, on Instagram. And I also do a Friday night live where that's how Abina found me, where I do free readings pretty much every Friday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I give readings for free. So yeah, that's where you can find me. And like I said, my handle is Michelle Swan Graham on Instagram. Please come and follow me. And yeah, I just exactly what I did today with all of you talking about you. That's how I do. It's part of my mission is I love being intuitive, and I love, reading for people, help people to be brighter and to be more themselves, and to help people with their intuitive gifts, their intuitive talents, to just uncover them. Because I believe that if everybody was intuitive, if everybody really embraced their spiritual gifts, I feel like the world, and I know it's going to sound corny, I feel like the world would be a better place. I feel like if you were intuitive, you wouldn't hurt people the way that people are hurt, right? If you understand about the soul and your spirit, you would be more mindful of the way that you treat people and how you move into the world. So yeah, so that's me. So I hope, if you'd like to follow me, please do.
And will you be making any public appearances or having any public workshops?
Yes,
Or
I will be. I will be with Abina on the 9th.
the 10th, the 10th, Sunday the 10th.
Oh my God, we're having the 10th. Yes, so I will be at Abina's event on the 10th. I will be giving readings, donated readings. All the information is on Abina's Instagram. So you can go follow, well, I'm sure you follow her there. So I will be there giving donation-based readings, which means that you could come out and you could donate whatever you want to me, and I will do a reading for you. So Monica, yeah, I look forward for you so I can meet you in person. So I will be there on the 10th, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm thinking about my dress, what I'm gonna wear, the cards I'm gonna bring. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And thank you so much, Abina, for inviting me to that. I'm really excited.
You're most welcome. I mean, like I like to say there's no such thing as coincidence, because I just happen to be on Instagram and I just happen to see this live, like, okay, who is this? So yeah, there's definitely no coincidences. And
That
so that brings me one question. Can you say something about galactic experiences?
Oh, okay. So I didn't create this card deck, but I have a card deck from an author. He's a psychic, Kyle Gray, and it's called The Gateway of Light Activation. So okay, so all right, so we have galactic energy. So I know we're always earth-based on this plane of spiritual realm, but there's also galactic energy. I don't know if anybody knows about star seeds, but there are people that believe that their soul originated from other planets. And they call themselves different, they have different affinities for different planets, and they feel like their soul comes from that planet. I have encountered galactic energy. At first, I didn't know what it was. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say that. I knew what it was, but I was like, oh, wow, this is really real. Of course, I knew it was real. And these are energies, celestial beings from other worlds, because I'm hoping everybody knows this, but I believe we are not the only intelligent beings in the universe. There are other, I'm sure there are other planets, and there are other celestial beings, spiritual beings from other realms, and they contact people here. So that is galactic energy. How do you tap in galactic energy? I'll tell you this, if you feel a affinity for the stars, if you love astrology, if you love sci-fi or space movies, you may feel that connection. If you had dreams of, or if you've had encounters with aliens, UFOs, or if you dreamed about those kind of issues, that is also kind of galactic energy. The galactic energy that I have encountered, they've always been kind and gentle. I've never encountered anything shadowy, but of course, like with anything, there are galactic energies that aren't always the nicest. But my encounters have been very, good. So galactic energy is a real thing. There are people that talk about this. This is not made up, it is real. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have galactic guides, but don't know what it is. And galactic energy is very strong. So I think spiritually, you have to be a little more evolved spiritually. I hope that makes sense, which you have some of the basics down, because I think for you to experience galactic energy, it can be a little bit mind altering. So I think you have to be at a point in your spiritual practice with you are open to that, and divinely you feel safe and you feel rooted enough, because galactic energy is very high energy. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. So I hope, did I explain that? I hope that I explained that good.
So
you are right. Yes, thank
so
you.
so more advanced in terms of, so you're saying the person has to be more advanced to receive that?
Yes. Okay. So it's like this. It's like school, right? So like when you're a freshman in high school, right? Unless you were pretty smart, you weren't gonna go to 12th grade, because you got to go through, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, then 12th grade. I think it's like that, because galactic energy is very it's kind of a powerful kind of energy, and you have to be able to, your body and your mind have to be open to it. So if you're starting on your journey, unless, so there's always a caveat, unless these galactic beings feel that they feel like that you are ready, unless they directly contact you and they feel like they can just help you bypass your spiritual journey. And because you can get I hate to use it, people use it all the time, but ascension, like they'll boost up your training, right? They'll boost up your ascension. It's like if you're a singer or a writer or an actor or any creative field, and you're working with the A-list celebrity and they train you, like you just go to the top quicker. So that's a way that they can work with you if you're contacted. But most of the time you have to kind of build up to that, and you'll know it when you're ready. Like you just feel it. Yeah, you just feel it. So if you're just starting out to be intuitive, I would not be try to access a galactic energy unless you're specifically guided to do that. Does that make sense, Abina? Because it's
Yeah, I was just curious as to, what the difference was. But I guess if you think about the universe and the expanse of it, yeah, I guess it probably would feel very different.
yeah, it's like it is. It's because then you kind of, the way that I felt when I connected to this energy was like, wow, I felt very human and very kind of minuscule, even though I know that's not the way they wanted me to feel, but it's just, yeah, it's just a different, it's a different energy. You have to be really ready for it, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
But I should say this, but if you feel guided to work with galactic energy, they will come in and tell you. Else you're going to go crazy. Yes, thank you, Isaac, for saying that. Yes, you can go crazy. Because that's the thing about spiritual work. That's why you have to be grounded, because I believe that sometimes people who have mental breakdowns or mental issues, sometimes I think some of them are very spiritual and they haven't been trained properly, or they don't know how to control it and they think it's something else, right? So that's why you have to be physically strong and mentally strong, because it can be overwhelming. It definitely, if you don't know what it is or what they, they want from you. I hope that
Mm, um, yeah, I mean, like I said, as a child, I was always looking at the sky like, come and take me. As a
yeah,
child,
you
I
had
was
said
having that.
that. So Abina, for you, since you had that affinity through childhood so strong, like they may have been trying to contact you and you may not know it. So for you, because you said, I think I told you this, but you seem very grounded to me. So it would be for you to ask them, and I know this is going to sound, but tomorrow you sit down, you have some quiet time, and you go, if there's any galactic guides or any energies around me who are of light, always make sure you put that on. If there's a message you're trying to contact me, come through now or give me a clear message, right? But I could say that to you because I feel your energy, right? But there's some people who are not balanced too. You have to be balanced for that. So Abina, I would tell you to do that and see what happens, what's come through, because you might be ready. And they might have been doing that and you're just like, what about if you feel a pull from the stars? Yeah, I would. If you feel a
Yes,
pull from the
Monica,
stars,
yes.
that could be galactic beings trying to talk to you. So once again, Monica, when you have some quiet time, I'm serious, quiet time, are there any galactic, okay, I'm gonna do this right now since we're all talking. Okay, I'm gonna just take it upon myself. I hope that's okay. I'm asking for if there's any galactic beings, any galactic energy that's connected to anybody who's watching or listening to this, right? That you contact them directly, you contact them, but you contact with information they can understand, right? You contact them with gentleness and love, okay? So now I'm asking that for everybody watching this. And if anybody has galactic guides or energy, for them to step forward. And then, like I said, they may not step forward right now, but maybe in a day or two, maybe some of that energy will come through and they'll come through for you. Because they might have been and you just don't know it. You might have thought that it was something else, but it's them. So I'm putting that request out there for everybody watching right now or in the replay for that. And I just felt, I've never done anything like that. I just felt guided right now to do that. So I'm thinking that's okay to do that. I get a yes. I feel a yes. So there's oh, wow. Okay, wait a minute. I saw a person with white robe, very glowing energy. Oh, wow. So when I said that, Stephanie, you saw that? Oh my God. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, thank you. Yes, wow. Okay, thank you. Okay, so then it is beautiful. Wow, that gets me excited because even though I'm clairvoyant, I'm more clairaudient or clairsentient. The clairvoyant thing comes, but not as strongly. So thank you, Stephanie, for, you know, sharing that. So we'll see. So hopefully some of you will get some galactic information, some galactic guides will come through, and just see what happens. You saw when I was talking. Okay, so then that means that galactic being came through, and maybe that's why I felt guided to say that, to speak for kind of everybody. Anyway, thank you for saying that, Stephanie. That makes me feel good. Well, what about mermaids? I love mermaids. Yesterday was National Mermaid. Wait. I think yesterday or Tuesday was National Mermaid Day. Mermaids, I believe, are real. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so we're gonna. I know we probably have to go soon, but mermaids, fairies, like all these things that you believe are real, I believe that they're real. I have never seen a mermaid, but that doesn't believe that I don't believe that they actually exist. And I'm gonna blow people's mind with this too. I'm sure that there are people walking around, and I have read for people that actually have fairy energy, that their DNA, somewhere in their ancestry, they were actually have a fairy ancestor. Now I've read for 2 people that have had that energy. I haven't read for anybody who has a mermaid DNA in them, but I'm sure that there are people that are. And I should say about the galactic energy too, there might be some of us who have alien DNA. There are people that believe that most life on Earth was started by aliens. So you could have alien DNA and not know. I mean, alien, you could have the DNA of you know, of beings from another world. So, but yes, mermaids do. I believe mermaids do exist. Yes, because fairies or little people, they exist in the myths and fairy tales all over the world. So yes. So if you love mermaids, if you're drawn to mermaid energy, you could work with mermaids as well. Like you can work with you can work with mermaids, fairies, unicorns. I mean, there's so many, you know, beings that walk on the earth. Or if they're not here in this energy, like their world lies close to ours and they can go through. Oh yeah, I love unicorns. Unicorns too, yes. And I have I know unicorn's gonna kick me because I've been meaning to release unicorn like meditations, but yes, unicorns, I've worked with unicorn energy. I've always had affinity to unicorns. Unicorns are real to me. Like I believe that they are real. They are real. And they've talked to me. So yes, unicorns are real. I've never seen a unicorn in real life. I've only seen them in like third eye, like in the astral, but I feel their energy. And unicorns can be very powerful protectors. Sorry about that, everybody. But yes, unicorns are real. Like I said, I have unicorns right here, so I have an affinity for unicorns. I do. But like I said, I believe a lot of things that people say are made up are real. I really believe that. And Stephanie is, I hope Stephanie will say it, but Stephanie is psychic too. Stephanie comes to my Friday live. Stephanie is psychic as well. And also she has an affinity to the Akashic records. Oh, I understand. Yes. So Monica, you can work with that energy too. The things that you love, the beings that you love, the spiritual, you know, from well, I call them fairy tales. If you love certain energies like that, you can work with them. Mermaids, dwarfs, elves, fairies, unicorns. I mean, you can work with those because they, you know, those energies are real. So, oh yes.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I don't know about working. For me, when I like with some of the energies that I come encounter to or reveal, I more like celebrate or acknowledge. Is
I
that
like
what you're
that.
meaning as working, or is
You
it a
can
different type of work?
when I say working, I mean like you talk to them, like, but like when I work with
Okay.
unicorns, I actually like I talk to them like they're real.
Okay.
Like to me that they're real. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, celebrating and appreciating them is wonderful, because if they know that you appreciate them, that energy will work with you.
Okay.
Does that make
From
sense?
Yeah. So for me, with that particular thing, what I do, I draw or I sketch. I draw
Got
or I sketch because of course sometimes I do have my little doubts and I'm like, am I seeing for real? Because it's like a different life, especially when you are awake and then you
yeah.
seeing vision reflections. I actually take some pictures too as well,
Oh
because I could
wow.
just look at a tree and the tree has a face. And
Yes.
yeah, or if
Yes.
I'm like, or sometimes I see some trees, they look like they're dancing or saying hello. So
Yes.
so me
I love
seeing that
that.
in my eye, I'm like, okay, let me take a picture. So, or
Yeah.
draw
Because
it, then it makes clear to me in a sort of a way. So that's what I do.
that's beautiful. And that's,
Okay.
you are working with them because they're showing you that. Like, yes, that's another working. Totally. That's exactly. And I saw, wait a minute. Isaac, you said about, wait a minute, I'm trying to pull it up in the chat. In Ghana, dwarves are very powerful. They know to work with herbs. Yeah, like, yeah. So whatever, they're very powerful. Yeah. So whatever, magical beings that you're drawn to, you can work with them too. And like, Najee said, you celebrating, appreciating them, they'll, they will work, they will acknowledge you because you're acknowledging them. It's like talking to friends. The more you talk to your friends, the better you get to know them. It's the same thing with any magical creature, any being or god or goddess, or it's the same thing. It's a relationship. You know.
Okay. Are you based in New York City or
Yes,
in
I'm
a
in the I'm
different?
in the Bronx. I'm in the Bronx. I'm in
Oh,
Culver
okay.
City. Yes,
She's in the
Okay.
Bronx, y'all. She's in
I'm in the
Co-op
Bronx.
City, Boogie Down, North Bronx. Up here, y'all can't have her.
Yeah, it seems like all the action is in the Bronx.
I like that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I
let's
had to
yeah.
get some soil testing and it was in the Bronx.
Oh, cool.
Soil,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Ajay has a question. He has his hand raised.
Oh, yes.
Um, I just want to say something concerning about what Miss just said. You know, this sorry, some of the beings that we love to work with them, they have um what they like if you are working with like dwarfs, what Miss Abana just text, they have particular thing that they like. Something like if like dwarfs, you have to give them something like banana.
All right.
And if you know those those things, you they will just following you like uh you and your cat or your dog, because you are something like provide, you are the provider for them. You always provide what they like.
Yes.
And it's very important for us to know if we want to work with certain beings.
Yes.
We should try and know what they like.
Yes.
Some of them like a perfume,
Yes.
very strong perfume. So make sure, if you know, you have to just work with those things.
Yes.
So if the moment you are working with those, maybe perfume, banana, you see them, anywhere you sit to just take your rest, you feel like they are just behind you, they are just sitting by you.
Yes.
So always we should make sure to study or understand what those beings like.
Yes. And all.
I didn't join the yes, I didn't join the meeting early. Um, I'm not going back, but uh, you guys were saying something like owl or those birds. They are very powerful, but we have to know how to handle them, because
Yes.
they can also harm us because we are not doing what they expect us to do.
Yes. That
Yeah.
is very true. That is very true. Yes, and giving offerings is important to know what they like. And yes, totally. And if like just what Miss Adeji said, you know, if you're working with any spirit guide or animal, working with them, I think if they call you, you begin to know it's like a relationship. So it's kind of a give and take. And if they pick you, if they call you, I usually feel like they know that you can handle their energy. That's another thing I think is important to know what you have an affinity for as well. But that's a great point. Thank you for saying that. And about the offerings, and just to tie it back to the daily practice, you know, that is something that, you know, whatever beings that you're looking into, you research them, you do your own research. You can read books, but do your own research to understand what they like, an offering, you know, what gifts they can give you, what they want in return. I mean, it's important to do your research. And it's also important to ground yourself and always to make sure that you walk in light as well. You know, that's yeah. So thank you for saying that, because that's something that I did not say, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you for saying that. You know, because
It's beautiful to hear that the offering for me, I was not thinking of as an offering. I was thinking as in for showing appreciation and love. Because
yes,
for me, if I'm like, I carry some seeds with me, bird seeds,
love that.
because any type of, it will go with any type of birds. So I carry some unsalted raw sunflower seeds. They love sunflowers and stuff like that. And for me, I'm giving them things that they love to eat,
Yeah,
you know? So,
and that's an offering. I mean
and
that.
so now, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So now I'm like, oh, yeah, it's an offering.
yeah.
So sometimes I carry my water, and then I'll give the tree some water. Or if I see a tree that is about to look like it needs help, I'll carry some compost and
Oh,
give the tree some
oh my
compost
God, that's
like that.
wonderful.
So
Yeah, and I think that's why probably you're able to see the faces in the trees. You're able to see those things because you're giving. It's you know, it's devotion. You're sharing the love, and they give you the love back, right? I think
yeah,
that's
definitely. So tomorrow I'm going to be going to a farm. There's normally chickens, and these chickens, whenever I'm eating, there's a class. they don't come to the to the other maids. They come to me. And then as I'm eating, it's like almost like they're asking me, are you, do you have this for me? And then
Yeah.
so I used to just throw it and be like, go away. They're like, the chickens are like, you're gonna have to give it to me by hand.
Oh, I
And when
love
I give it to them
Mm.
by hand, they take it from me.
I love it. And they can tell your energy. Animals know energy. They can tell who's
These New York squirrels and pigeons are definitely domesticated.
oh my God. Yes, they are. Yes, and they'll come right up to you like, hey. And I'll be like, I'm sorry, I don't have any food for you. Maybe next time. Yeah, you just be polite. But yes, okay, so right, like Abina said, we should wrap it up. Yes, everybody put
Your email address in the chat, because I copied the chat and I will send it to everyone. So if everyone just puts their email address, I can send it out. I'll be able to copy the chat and send it out.
yeah, so I
But
just put my email. But Abina, I want to thank you. I know we talked over. And I know
yeah.
my son is about to burst in soon. I'm surprised he hasn't done that. But this is really wonderful talking to all of you, meeting all of you.
Oh, yes, this was beautiful. This was fantastic. I love these conversations, these all things magical and mystical. I love it.
I did too. Thank you, Abina, so much for having me on and allowing me to, to talk. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And it was, pleasure meeting all of you. And thank you for sharing your stories and, sharing. It just makes it even more special.
Wonderful. So I'd just like to announce that this is Transformation Thursday, and this was week what? 72, I think.
Yes, I think you said that. Yes.
So this happens every Thursday. It's been happening consistently every Thursday from November 2020. It's every Thursday, like 7-ish to
Right.
7-ish till whenever. It's 2 hours of holistic inspiration, information, and education. And just as a commercial note, yes, Miss Michelle will be at the Bronx Natural Hair Afternoon Tea next Sunday, April 10th, which will be at Bronx Collab. And Miss Michelle, you're not on Facebook at all, right?
No,
Just
I'm not.
Instagram.
Just
Okay.
Instagram. But you can all
Okay.
find me on Instagram. I'm the only Michelle Swan Graham out there. So
Okay, so I've already tagged you on Instagram, and many people know you can't find her on Facebook, but you can find her next Sunday at the Bronx Collab Space at
yes.
3866 White Plains Road between 221st and 222nd Street. If you go on my Facebook or my Instagram, Bronx Holistic Healing, you will see the event there. And also June 18th at Sobro Social, I will be co-coordinating the Melanated Soul Expo, which is like, if you've ever been to like the Awareness Fair or the New Life Expo, this is a melanated Soul Expo for our community, where we discuss all things magical, holistic, and mystic. So it's a dream event, and I'm so happy that it's manifesting. And we're still seeking vendors and speakers and just a safe space for our melanated community to talk about angels and Akashic records and UFOs and all of it, all of it. So that's also on my Instagram and my Facebook. We will have aura photography services at that event as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I want to thank all of you for being here. This was awesome. Yeah, I guess you better close it before they shut us down, because you said you give Zoom a certain amount of time, they will shut you off. So I just like to thank everyone. Again, Michelle is on Instagram and I'm on Instagram at Bronx Holistic Healing. And thank you all so much for being here.
Great. Good night,
Okay, so
everybody.
okay, good night. Have a wonderful evening.
You
Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye. Bye.